There's a report, John, that the U.S. and the EU are working together looking whether seized Russian assets can be used to help fund Ukraine. Are you able to speak to that specifically or more broadly to what you will do if you do not get a supplemental? Are there sort of extraordinary measures that you're considering?
So we're kind of talking about two different things here. We still need the supplemental request to be able to support. There's no magical pot of money, as Shalonda Young said, to support Ukraine going forward. I won't talk to that specific proposal, but I will say, just broadly speaking, that we have talked to many of our allies and partners about what Russia's role ought to be post-conflict in terms of the restructuring, the recovery inside Ukraine long term. But we aren't at a point right now where where we can address the specific muscle movements and what that's going to look like. But Russia has destroyed an awful lot of infrastructure and killed tens of thousands of lives in Ukraine, and they should be held accountable for that long term.
So too soon to say whether you're looking at seized assets for that measure?
I would say too soon to say.
Can we speak very quickly to where the Venezuelan swap, leaves us on the question of sanctions relief? Is the administration considering further changes to sanctions that are in place right now? Does this open the door for that?
I don't have any sanctions announcements to make today.
Thank you, Brady. John, Israel's defense minister said that as they transition to the next phase of the operation, some of the local civilians may be able to return to their homes in North Gaza. I wonder if you can give an explanation on how that might work when there are many people who don't have homes to return to, just kind of give an idea of what kind of plans the U.S. has to support these Palestinian civilians.
I would certainly welcome those comments. I think that's an important sign to allow people that were displaced from the north to the south as operations intensified in the north to be able to go back home or to be able to make that crossing back to north of Gaza. So those are welcome comments. I think we'll be in touch with our Israeli counterparts about exactly what that looks like to address your exact concern. Some of them will go back and there are no homes to go back to. So we want to make sure that for those that are going back, that there are means and availability for them to seek and to have secure shelter. But again, we'll have that conversation with our Israeli counterparts.
Just to follow up on Ed's question, when you argued that the U.S. biggest achievement in foreign policy is shoring up alliances and networks of partners, how can you argue that, and how can you argue U.S. leadership is stronger when the president is almost singularly isolated in the UN over the issue of Gaza?
Well, I think I would take premise with the question that we're somehow singularly isolated. First of all, we're still working with the UN partners on the language here, so let's not get ahead of where we are in the process. And I think all you have to do is look about what we've been able to do around the world and see that American leadership still matters, that America's views still matter. And President Biden has literally been driving that forward since he came into office, again, through a reliance and an understanding that we can't do everything alone. The whole idea behind his foreign policy approach is that we need friends and partners, that they have capabilities and they have skill sets that we don't have in every other way, and that we work better as a team.
John, can you share just here today, since this may be one of the last briefings for a while, your assessment of where the status is of potential talks to secure another hostage deal and a pause in fighting? A lot of the families have expressed concern that this may get lost a little bit over the holidays and are worried that every day really matters here.
It won't get lost over the holidays. We're working on it every single day, almost every hour of every day. That there have been serious talks and negotiations over trying to get back into another pause and a hostage exchange. I won't go into the details of that, understandably so, but I can tell you that they are very serious, and we are very serious about getting that back in place.